There we go. Were you able to click the link? You can hear me now? There we go. Yeah. All right, cool. So what's going on? What's going on? It was a simple issue. I don't know. My mic wasn't working at first. Yeah, doing good, doing good. Ready to get started. So first things first, I wanted to talk about the head and shoulders pattern. So it was just funny because cool. It was just coincidence that it formed this pattern when I dropped that video. But of course, we have the pattern here, and we wait for the break. We wait for the break of the pattern. All right, so you could have went to the 5 minute and waited for the break. But of course, we weren't gonna take that trade because we were at daily support. At daily support here. So, but we just wanted to get an idea of how to draw that pattern out. Normally, I don't see it that often on gold. I don't see it often at all, but it's just funny that that pattern formed on gold when I decided to do a head and shoulders pattern. But yeah, but I don't see that pattern too often on gold. But we're at that daily support, and that's the reason why we did not get into that sell. So when you are looking at patterns that way, this is exactly how you want to approach the market. Because even if we had a nice, rising flag pattern right here, right? We had a nice rising flag here. Say we had a nice rising flag and it was going to break to the downside. Of course, we're not going to, use that sell because we're at daily support. The only time we want to look for a sell if it passes through, it breaks, and it creates resistance. So we want something to look like this. For us to go for a sell, we want it to break to the downside, and we want it to come up for a retest. And of course, this is when we'll use the fib. So the break was here where the high was there. We broke structure. We came back to that 50% 618 tracement. And then we want a confirmation right at that area. We want a confirmation. So of course, the 1 2 3 candlestick pattern, doji, inside candle, whatever candle that you use to confirm the market, that's exactly where you want to enter when we get the pattern for that retest. And then market will continue to the downside, breaking lower lows, and creating new lower highs right down to the downside. So that's what we would have looked for if we wanted to sell. That's exactly how you want to see the market, especially this is for when we're at daily, weekly zones. This is how we want to trade. We want to trade more conservative. But of course, if this zone wasn't here, if that zone wasn't there, daily support wasn't there, next daily support zone was down here, we would have entered that trade immediately right up there, because there wouldn't have been any buy pressure at this point. So this would have been a beautiful sell. But of course, we had buy pressure on that daily support, so we definitely not going to get into that sell until we see something like this. Now, does that make sense? Okay, okay. Actually, let me since you're the only one on stream right now, are you okay with connecting through Discord? So I can actually get you through Discord so you can actually talk instead of just typing. Okay, hold up. Let me set it up. Okay, good. Go to your Discord. Go to your Discord and join the yeah, join the save changes. Yeah. Yeah, so go to the private Discord and join the general chat. Yeah, you should see me in there waiting. There we are. Good. Your mic's muted. Yeah, yeah, you gotta unmute your mic. Yeah, you should have permissions. Try and unmute your mic again. All right, hold on. No, we should be able to speak. It's always something that I'm missing. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna create another channel.
Hey,
Oh,
bro.
wait. No, there we go. All right.
Assalamu alaikum, bro. Damn, it's
Hey,
awesome.
what's going on?
Should
Alright, hold on.
I take off the YouTube? Maybe just turn off or something.
Yeah, just mute it since
Mute
you're
it.
gonna
Yeah.
be here
Okay.
live.
Awesome. Damn, that's so cool, man. Like, anyway, first of all, I appreciate it. It's like a lot faster to talk than to type, but I think the main thing, so for us, just a quick background. I think I've been speaking about it over the IG and everything else, but basically the main problem my wife and I have is that, she's been in the forex industry mostly as marketing and general manager for a lot of, marketing staff for like the last 11 years. So while we were doing sort of other business, like we've been trying to do a lot of trading, physical goods and such, um, you know, it's gotten difficult, obviously. So she was kind of going back to her roots and trying to get people to, what do you call it? Offer like, conservative returns per month for forex or for trading, which is like 5 to 10%. But the issue has been that has been very good in some cases. Like even in one day, she's been able to make like 100% on a $10,000 account, for example. But it's not been consistent, right? So what we ended up doing was we trusted on trusted traders who they talk the world, and they can move heaven and earth. But then at the end of the day, everything gets blown away, right? So I mean, we've been through a lot of situations, which is pretty dumb, to be honest with you, I think. But what we're trying to do now is how can we sort of have a trading plan to get back at regaining the capital, I guess, for some investors, and as well as that's why I was like, man, I wish I saw your channel like in February or January, because we were getting a lot of clients. We were getting like, I think we have something like $300,000 that people sort of trusted with us to.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. So and to be honest with you, some of the traders that we ended up sort of working together with, they were okay for a while. Like they were able to make 40-50% in that week, for example. And then after like the third week, it's like boom, what happened? It's like they just disappeared, or they just, I don't know what happened, right? And we were able to basically salvage a lot of the stuff, but yeah, we still need to get what's a realistic kind of plan, what it might take in terms of time as well as amount of capital. Yeah, bro. And I mean, to top it all off, my dad passed away last year. My mom just passed away too. So it's like, man, I don't know what's up with this life, but I get so much, yeah, really just benefit and joy just being able to like even chat with you on the lives and being in the group. It's just so inspirational, and it's something that I've really really want to dive deep into, and especially because we're actually from like Indonesia, and I think financial education, this kind of stuff, it's never really taught, right? So if there's some ways that maybe we could bring, I don't know, NTG Academy franchise to Indonesia, because it's mostly Indonesian speaking, maybe that's something to think about.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you just put me on the spot to think about that, but but yeah, that'd be a cool opportunity. I mean, why not? I mean, branch off into continuations.
Oh.
I wasn't, that wasn't in my plan to, even be NTG Academy in the first place. But
Well, we need
yeah,
to get you to Bali,
we see how
right?
what the future holds. You can hear me?
Yeah, we need to get you to Bali somehow, right?
Oh yeah, when a session. Yeah, I'm gonna get a vacation soon. I got a couple athletes going to Japan this week actually, so they're gonna
Nice.
be flying over there and get ready for competition. So that's gonna be nice to watch.
Yep. Yep. So basically, yeah, just like, I mean, maybe we don't have to talk about it too much over this live right now, but that would be ideal. Like if we could probably talk deeply in how to make a proper trading plan, because basically, on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and to be honest with you, like I've had good days and then just bad weeks, right? So I just don't do anything. I just kind of stay frozen and just try to do things like looking at the charts and analyze, just like you say, everything you say is really like, hit the nail on the head. And so I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll go back to a demo and see what I can do there. And so like yesterday I was watching your channel, I was watching the Head and Shoulders. I was like, whoa, this is like really playing out. But before that happened, because we were having that discussion about daily support, and it's bouncing back off the weekly support, I was looking for a buy, and I got it. Looked at the confirmation. I
Oh,
saw the
here's
one,
the
two, three,
confirmation right here.
and
Actually,
and then
I don't know if you
yeah,
saw that one. This one right here. I know that the live's lagging a little bit, but right there on that support.
yeah. So I mean, for the buy, right?
Yeah, for that buy.
Yeah. So I mean, I waited because I'm still kind of unsure, right? So I
Hmm.
waited at about 1802. It went up just as expected, I guess. It should be expected. It's getting more and more expected. But I didn't release at 1805. I just let it go down. So that's, and then the same thing happened when after I watched your Head and Shoulders. I was like, wow, this is actually going to play out. Waited for that break. I got in at the 1798, I think it was, which was just right after the second candle, I think, right? And I let it drop. So I got something there. But when then you see like the reversal, right?
Hmm.
And it's like it's still going up, and like, is it gonna keep going up or is it not gonna keep going up? That's the tug of war,
That's the tug of
So
war. Yes, and that's what most traders don't understand is that the maintenance of the trade is where that's where it really defines a trader. That's the difference between traders because everyone can enter trades
exactly.
and do all these things, and that's why I never really like signals, and everyone's asking me for signals all the time, but the signal's not going to change anything. You can, the market gives you signals to get into trades all the time. You don't need signals from other traders to get into trades. So
Yeah.
what they need to learn is how to maintain that trade and, have that mindset to think, okay, we're in a head and shoulders pattern. NTG said that it's going to break to the downside, which it did, but we are at daily support. And one thing
Yeah.
to consider is that daily, the strongest areas of market structure is daily and the weekly. And those are not to take lightly. And that's why I always say in my lives, when gold reaches weekly structure, I always recommend not to trade the markets because things like this happen. A lot of manipulation. It gives you so many confirmations for buying sells, and then you don't know exactly
Yep.
what to do. So those are the best times to just like not trade as a trader, instead of like constantly looking for that next setup. Because it did,
But
because
it's
the head and shoulders looked perfect. Like it looked beautiful. It broke structure. It did exactly what I said in the video. But we are at daily support, and it trapped a lot of traders. It did.
yeah. So that's this is the issue that I'm finding because maybe we're looking for how to flip an account every single time,
Yeah,
but it's
and
like
that's the thing too.
because obviously we're it's like, well, you just talked about it yesterday, I think, and it was like, well, it wouldn't be like a revenge trade, but it's more like, man, I need to get back. It's a somewhat, I wouldn't say desperate situation, but it's kind of like that where we need to obviously gain back the capital that was lost, and then obviously create a more stable income and life for us as well. So I think, and I was just going to say that I know you've always, prefer us, let's say, to trade in the London or New York sessions, and it's great. But, we've been noticing with gold, like it can, even with just moves like 100 pips or whatever, that's still a pretty good move during the Asian session.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like, but so I get confused there. But, and then sometimes it might be a bit slower, when sometimes we hit with like London or New York, like, whoa, what happened? It's like
Yeah.
just, and even more, yeah. But yeah. I mean, I think in terms of just, what you can probably help me out specifically with the situation that we're in. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about first thing we should talk about is the risk portion of it. So how much are you risking
Hmm.
per trade?
I mean, so we had like about a $3,000 account. Like for this one account, all right, and that's with some. It's like what they call a PAM account. It's a pooled asset management account. So there's some people put in 500 and 1,000. So unfortunately, what happened was we put in sell at about 1769, right?
Right.
And then it went up. So we hedged it, and that's another issue that I've been asking, because sometimes maybe it's a bad habit. I personally learned it a little bit from my wife. She's when you have a large account, I think it's fine. You can hedge it, and gold can kind of move up and down eventually. But it's how to get rid of that, how to get rid of that habit, how to get away from that hedging.
That psychology portion of it. What
Yeah, because
what do you
we
think is
missed
the
it.
reason?
So
You
our,
did.
like we have a buy. Yeah, so we thought it was gonna go for a sell, so we sold at 1769, and then obviously reversed, and it went up, and then we did a buy to hedge it at 1799, right? So we're like way below there. I think eventually may still go back down, but we got it's just floating. I don't know what to do in that kind of situation, you know?
Well, the first thing is don't hedge trade. That'll be the first thing. Don't hedge trade at all. What we need to do is approach the trade, and we need to know how much we want to risk per trade. We want to know exactly when to get out the trade so that we're not losing more of our capital, which is more than 2% of our capital. So when you're adding
Yep.
positions in that hedge, like you got in for a sell, and you're just letting
Mhm.
you're letting the market go bullish and it's going against you, and then you get
Yep.
into a buy. Well, some people think that hedging like that will balance out the account, but in reality, it doesn't balance the account out. It can be even worse in drawdown, especially if you get out of those positions at bad positions. You can just
Yeah.
like double blow your account just like that, because you can go for a buy, you get the buy in, you get rid of your sell, and then it goes from bullish to bearish, and then now you're in a buy. So then now you got to get out of that buy, and now you just double whammed your account. And
Yep.
so having that trading plan is important as far as like technical analysis. What is your way of trading? Like how do you trade exactly? Like I need to get an idea of how you trade the markets. How do you approach the markets? What do you see? What do you wait to look for as far as when you're about to place that trade?
So, well, number one, I've probably had a lot of bad habits from just lack of information, lack of experience and knowledge. But thankfully, when I've seen what you've done, which is basically really trying to confirm the trade, right? Like, well, number one, we're trying to get better at making sure we're in the right session. Okay. Number two, looking at your structure. That's another important part, I think, to build out that structure. And then once we have the confirmation, I'm trying to get to be more like you, basically, which is, getting all these things confirmed, and then having the initiative and the courage to just take it, which I'm getting better at, I think. So, but what happens is, okay, one, not really scaling in yet. Not really scaling in yet. I've tried it. Not really did very well with it, right? Because I
Scaling is
think,
very difficult. Yes.
and try to do the sort of the, let's say, the beginner step, which is like you take, let's say it's 0.10 and then a 0.05, for example, right? You don't do what you're doing, which is doubling it up.
Yeah.
But
No, don't do that.
and so I think just slowly trying to develop a style which is like yours, because I need to, you know what I mean? I need to flip accounts in some way to gain back, in my mind, the capital that's been lost. So, but it's not it's not gonna happen every day. That's the thing, right? I think
Right.
the issue is, it's like I'm trying to, like, okay, let's say even on 100 pips, can I make double the account, for example, right? In that trade, and so I think I'm getting better at probably defining the zones, what you're doing, right, and then waiting for that confirmation, because patience has been the issue, right? FOMO and all that stuff. So trying to get in the positions, but then trying to get out at the right spot, right? Like, so yesterday I took in a buy at 1802 and it went up to 1805. And I did the Fibonacci extensions, and that was I think 1.5, I think. At
1.5.
that.
Yeah, I always recommend that. Early pips is good.
Yes. And then I was still just waiting to see, would it go to the 2? And I mean, maybe that's the wrong idea because there was not much news, nothing like that at all, right? Um, and so I should just like, because it was like a one lot, and that went from, it went from up to like $400, I think, and then I kind of just didn't close it, and it went down, and I closed it about 200. Let me just check. Yeah, so it came back to like 200. Yeah, so I think that's the thing, right? Like, just getting better at drawing out the fibs so that we're getting the right take profit, and knowing when it's like, okay, well, this is gonna reverse, or it's gonna kind of just, it's time to get out. That would be key.
Okay, so knowing when to get out of the trade, that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Okay, so there's multiple ways. All right, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the fib extension, of course, with getting out of the trade. Easy, just like that. Another way, which is the way that I like to get out of my trades, is using market structure, right? So let's do this for an example. Well, we'll do another example later on. So, do you use the pivot point indicator? Are you familiar with identifying your lower lows, your lower highs, and your higher highs and your higher lows? Are you familiar with that? Can you hear me? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me in the live?
Yo. Yeah, bro. Sorry, I got cut off there. I think my signal just went bad.
Okay. Can you hear me
Sorry
now?
about that. So, pivot points high low. That was the last part I heard.
Yes,
Okay.
I was asking if you use that.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this is, I know you're familiar with this way of how I enter my trades and how I scale into my trades. So let's just take this engulfing for example, right? So we enter the trade here, and of course, firstly, you wanna know what your initial risk is. So of course, you wanna say, okay, market structures here. I wanna go 10 pips above that structure. So this will be 25 pips. 25 pip risk, right? If you had like a, I don't know, say $2,000 account, you wanted to risk 2% of that, we'll risk $20. So we enter that first initial trade. Now what we want to do, of course, the fib extension is not needed at this point because we're not using any breakouts. So normally we use the fib extension for, we get the high and we bring it to the break of the candle so we can get targets, right? But we don't have any break in this situation. Right. We're trading off of support and resistance. So I don't know how profitable this will be. Like if you grab the wick and you just grab like your entry candle and you dragged it to the 2 or maybe the second candle, I don't know. I haven't tested that, so I don't know how profitable that would be. But so when we enter that first initial trade here, we want to let that trade run. The first thing you want to look for is a lower high. right? That's the first thing you want to wait for. You want to wait for the market to create a lower high. That's the first. Real quick. All right, so there we go. Now I'm nice and tight. All right, so we want to wait for the market to create a lower high here, because we know in a downtrend the market creates lows and highs, right?
Right.
Creates that structure. So that's the first thing we're waiting for here. You're gonna let your profits run, okay? Right back to this. This is where you want to
Right.
take targets, because we're at that next structure here. We want to let our profits run for the first market structure, right? So if gold decides that it didn't want to make this lower high, right, and it just shot straight up back to the structure, then of course that would be a loss. Or if we got back up to this resistance, we broke this resistance here, and gold was giving you signs for like a reversal, then of course we would get out early. But for that first initial sell position, we're letting targets run until we see that lower high. So let's go in market replay mode, right? We're gonna wait for that lower high to be created, right? So this is our first initial lower high, right? So if you want to trade safely, right, and you don't want reversals to happen, or you want to try, I don't like trading this way because it chops up the profit, right? Because if you don't let too much of your profits run and you're losing too many trades, then you're not gonna end up making profit at the end, because you're like getting stopped out at like 10 pips of profit, 20 pips of profit. We want to gain 80, 50, 80, 100 pips.
Right.
But this is a safer way to do it, so you can gain that psychology. This is why I always recommend it, because you want to gain that psychology of holding your trade. And that's your issue right now. When you place that trade, that the inexperience in the market is not giving you that leverage in your psychology to be able to hold trades, because the market is surprising you with different movements. You're reading every single candle as like a reversal, a continuation. You start confusing yourself because your psychology is hyped up. You're trying to make money, but at the same time you don't want to lose the money. So everything that you see is not going with your technical analysis, and so that's what ends up messing up your trade in the end. But this is definitely a safe way that you can do. So you want to wait for that lower high. Okay, if we were in an uptrend, you will wait for the higher high to be created and then the higher low. We'll look at that as well for an example. But
Right.
we created this lower high. This is where you want to move stops. Exactly right here. You want to move it to break even. So when you see that first lower high, you're like, okay, I can move stops to break even. So this is a 0% risk trade right now. We're good right now. Beautiful trade. Now, our second step, we want to draw out this lower low. We want to draw out the lower low, and we want to tell ourselves that if gold ends up breaking this lower low, we can move stops to our first lower high.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so that's the thing. You're doing this on the computer, or you're doing this manually on the phone? Because
I'm doing this on the computer.
Right.
On MT4. Do you have the MT4 on your desktop?
No. I have a Mac. I would have to use an emulator or something maybe, and then get on there. But mostly just been trading with the phone, which probably makes it difficult. But I have been trying to do that. Like I've been seeing where, like you're saying, the lower, following the 30 MA, or let's say the lower high, and just changing the stop loss if it's going in the way that the analysis is showing. So I manually put it in, which obviously with gold can just change quickly. But
right. So what do you use do you use the 30 EMA, or do you use market structure to draw stop loss?
For the trailing stop loss, I've been following what you're saying, which is the 30 MA. So I see let's say the red line, for example, it goes down to a certain level, um, and then just changing it on the fly, you know. But again, that was the problem yesterday where I could see it going up, and then yeah, it didn't. I should have just closed, you know,
Close
at
the
a.
position,
But
but you let it run.
yeah, so I let it run, maybe
Okay, I see
hoping.
what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe we're what is it? It's like it's too much expectation, or just you're in profit, just take it rather than have
Right.
half the profit. You
Yeah,
know?
rather than
Yeah.
have it. Because a lot
Yeah.
of traders well, there's different reasons why we let our profits run, even though like when the market gives us a signal to get out of the trade. Different
Yes.
reasonings, different expectations. People have like goals, unrealistic goals that they're trying to shoot for in the market.
That's it.
What happened?
That's it right. That's it right there. Yep. Yep. Like, but when it comes to like negatives, we're like holding on to it, like, oh man, you
Yeah, you're
gotta
holding
make
on
sure
to
it.
it because like
Goes
that's money
back.
that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
like I don't want to lose this money when you're losing, and then
Yep.
when you're in profit, it's like I want more.
Yes.
So that's
That's
definitely
it right there.
yep. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So on the technical side, I can show you, I can show anybody, once we break structure, move stop loss, wait for that next lower high to be created, move stop loss, and then we wait for that next lower high, move stop loss here. We can always technically we can do that. It's like on paper, like it's easier said than done on paper. Oh,
Hmm.
that barely touched my stop loss right there. That's funny. It's lagging a little bit on the live, so I don't know if you're looking at the live still.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
So it
yeah,
went to 1807 or 1802, right? Yeah.
right. And then eventually we just take profit. So technically, it's like, okay, NTG told me to do this technically, and we can do this
Yeah.
here. We can hold, but then like when you're actually live in the market, it's completely different. Once that psychology,
Exactly.
once you're like on your own, and you're doing the
Yep.
trade, based off of like your
But I'm getting
emotions.
more and more confident from the videos. Get more and more confident with the videos, so that's great. So if just to follow your analysis, we would have been, let's say, putting the stop loss at 1803, which is the lower high, right? Like you would have still captured that profit, or if you left it at that point, it would have been, it could have reversed on us, and then we wouldn't have managed to get all of those pips
Okay, so
just
hold on.
now.
Let me see it on the charts. Hold on, real quick. So, are you talking about that trade that you took today?
No, the one that you just did, that you're showing their EMA, and
Oh, with
then
the
it was
EMA.
sort of the lower high. Yeah, and
Okay,
it
so
went from
yes, you asked
1803.
me if once we reach that 1800 area, would I had taken profit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll take profit for sure. Definitely. Let me tell you something of reasons for me to leave my profit running. So, say this was this area right here that we reached on the charts. If this was like a hour structure, a 30-minute structure, a 15-minute structure, I would have let a little bit more candles play out just to see if it's showing signs of continuation. But once we hit 4 hour, daily, weekly, TP is automatically taken. I don't even think about it. It's taken. That's it. You don't want to ever play with daily support, weekly support, or resistance. You don't ever want to play with those major levels of market structure. So when you see levels like that big of a market structure, you always want to take your TP right away.
Mm,
And even for
that's
you,
it. That's
even for
it.
you as like a newer trader, you want to take your profits. Like even if it's just like 20 pips, even if it's like
Yeah.
10 pips. I know like some people are looking at it as like, oh, like I'm not making any money. But later down the line, what it does is it builds confidence and it builds your awareness in the
Mm-hmm.
market as well. And then what traders are not used to is collectively taking profits. They're not used to that. and they're not used to watching the market while in profits. So that's their issue. So when a trader is in profit for like the first time in a long time, it's like a surprise. It's like, oh, I'm actually in profit, and they don't know what to do at that point. It's just like, should I take profit? Should I not take profit? NCG told me to use the 30
Yeah.
minute trail. It's like a lot of things going on, rather than losses, and you're like, oh shoot, it's in a loss. Nah, I just gotta be patient and wait. So
Yeah.
so what
So
you what you want to do is build that confidence. You want to build that routine. You want to show your mind that you're able to consistently take profit in the markets, even if it's just small structure. Take the profit because you want to build that experience in the market, and you can't build that if you're letting your profits run and then it goes against you and you lose a trade and then you lose a trade, and then those losses that you take, say like you don't necessarily have the same capital that you had before, so you lose confidence, and what happens is you lose that market time, so you slow down on your trading, and now you're not actively trading. And I don't know if you remember that example I gave of working out. You can't work out twice a week and
I remember
yeah, and expect a
discipline.
bodybuilder type body. You got to put hours of work every single day. So it's the same thing with the market. You need live market time, and you need to build that confidence and that experience in the market, because if you're taking a couple days off in the market, you're taking a week off, it's not a good idea because you're not staying active. Now, even me, because I don't trade every day, but I watch the markets every day. So that's the difference. I even do like little play scenarios where I'm like, okay, I think gold is gonna go here. I try and predict candles. Like I'll say, okay, that's gonna make an engulfing, or that's gonna make an inside candlestick. Just to have fun a little
Yeah.
bit, keep my mental
Yeah.
on the charts, and then when I see a really good setup, then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to take this trade, and I know exactly how the trade is gonna play out. And that's another thing too with newer traders. When they're in profit, they don't know how the trade is gonna play out. You know. And I understand, because it's very hard to hold your trade, especially like, say you got your entry, right at the well, let's say here, right? Well, let me see here. Now let's use another example. No,
Just right after the break, but sometimes there's a spread, right? So the spread.
right, the spread, with TP and everything like that. But let's say for instance, right? Let's move our daily zone. Let's say our targets were right at this daily zone, right? And we got in very nice. We're about 50 pips in profit. Yeah, we're 50 pips in profit. And the market just starts doing this, right? Now, like just in the blink of an eye, you're back at break even. I don't know if you can see the charts. Can you
Yep.
still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if
Just
you
went
I
back.
couldn't hear nothing, so
Yep. Yep.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah. So just like just evenly, like you're right back at break even, and it's like, okay, so should I hold my trade? Like you see strong bullish pressure, and you're like, oh, but we didn't hit TP, and I know NTG said, but the psychology, hold your trades until your TP, and all these things like that. All these emotions going through your brain and all these things. But ideally, you want to take your profits, right? So if we're watching gold on the lower time frames, and and you're trailing with the 30 EMA, right? Say you were trailing, and we should have got out here, okay? Our goal was 70 pips, but we ended up taking 30 pips. And it happens. That happens a lot. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, okay. No, it's a fine. It's fine. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you on Discord.
Hello?
No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you on Discord.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Dude, sorry.
Hello? No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you on Discord.
Okay. Right. So
Okay.
now, okay, I can hear YouTube again, which is the anime. Right.
Yeah, it'll come
Okay.
up soon.
Yep.
It's lagging a bit. So.
Right. So we went back up. We lost our trade.
Right. So we should have got out at our 30 EMA, right? Because NTG told us to trail.
Yes.
Especially as a beginner, to trail that EMA and get out when we're supposed to. But we didn't. Okay. And the core issue of why we're not getting out of that, we're not listening to our initial plan and we're not getting out, is because of the expectation, right? You, especially for your situation right now, of that you have to recover capital, correct?
Yes.
So that it's like a bug that plays in your brain. You know, it's like controlling your thumbs on getting out of the trade and your emotions, because technically you're like, okay, I need to get out this trade. NTG told me to get out. Simple, right? Simple enough. You know you should get out that trade. You know exactly you need to get out, but your emotions is telling you to hold it because we have a capital that we need to recover. You know, we lost so much money, and your brain is like, this might be the trade where you can recover everything. This might be the trade. So hold it. But then, of course, what happens is the market reverses, and then you end up with nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, less than
it. The money actually takes your money. You know, you don't want to end up like those people on game shows where they make it to like $800,000 and then they have that last bonus question, and it's like, okay, you can do the bonus question, risk all your money, go home with nothing, or you can go home with $5 million. And people are like, oh man, $5 million, that's life changing money. This, that, and the third, and they overthink it, and they're like, that greed starts to kick in. The life situation, they start thinking like, oh, I can live on the beach, I can quit my job, I can do this, that, and the third, I can pay off debt, all these things that they can do with that 5 million. It's like they forget that they already have 800,000 on the table. It's like it doesn't exist anymore. That 800,000 that they have locked in, they can walk away with $800,000 right now. But as soon as the host said you can make 5 million if you get this question right, it's like it's all out the window. So it's right there.
Or like what you just showed here, where there is an engulfing, 1, 2, 3, or at that like 1-800.
Yeah, right
and
there.
Okay, so it goes up and then it went down again. So that's like a retracement. I would basically pull out the fib thing and oh shoot, it's gone back past 50%. So is it still going to go up again? That's like, man, we can win both ways. I totally know we can win both ways, but it's just getting in and switching it. You know what I mean? Or am I just overanalyzing and over trading?
Yeah, that's I think that's what it comes down to. It's like the analyzing everything. Like you're combining everything at once now. It's like,
yes,
you're trailing stop loss with the 30 EMA, but at the same time you're trying to look for retracement. We have to pick and choose what we want to use. Ideally on paper it sounds good, right? Like you use Fibonacci to make sure that the market is going to continue into a trend and all these things like that. But ideally it's actually backfires against us, definitely. And that's why I implemented this 30 EMA so much, because it protects you. Once in a while the 30 EMA will get you in some nice long trades. It does. It really does. It gets you in some beautiful nice trades. But then majority of the time what it's doing is protecting you from losses, and it's protecting you from giving your profits that you earn.
And so locking in profits.
Locking in profits. And that's what it's about. It's locking in profit. It's okay if the market comes back and it hits our stop loss, and then it continues to the downside, because in this field what you want to be is consistent, right? You want to be that's absolutely the only way you're gonna make it, is if you're consistent. And You can't be consistent trailing Monday you trail 30 EMA, and then Tuesday you don't decide to trail it, you use fib retracement. So the consistency is off now because you're using two different things to get out of trades. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you're actually just that curve that you're building off of trailing the EMA is down now because you're using other tools to get out of trades, which you should be only using 30 EMA. That's all you need. You don't even need price action for 30 EMA. You just need the EMA and that's it. That's all you need, and you just consistently do that every time. And then eventually when you start seeing different things like, oh, I see that using the 40 EMA actually keeps me in longer, so let me change it to the 40 EMA. Okay, ooh, I see the fib retracement is actually working a lot better now. Let me trail a little bit more and then implement it later into my techniques. So you want to build off of that, and you don't want to use something that's that you don't know the results of. And I think that's where most traders go wrong as well. Like, they look at my videos and they're not practicing forward testing and back testing before they go live. They don't know the results of, you know, the strategy. They don't know the scenarios of the strategy. And I know the markets build different scenarios, but there's times where I see the same scenario that happens. It's like, you know, with the market structure, because I've been there before and I've done it, but a lot of traders haven't. So you want to consistently have one way of taking profits. Like one way of taking profits and one way of trailing stops. You have to choose. Because you can't combine it all at both, because what you're going to do is just confuse yourself, and then you're going to give yourself different signals. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like if you're looking at trail stop loss, but at the same time you're also looking at market structure. Trail stop loss told you to get out here, right? It told you to get out right there at the bottom, if you can see. You see that? You see that right at the bottom? It told you to get out the trade.
1801? Yeah.
And you're like
1801. Yeah. It hit it, right?
Yeah. It told you to get out. You didn't get out yet because you didn't have your stop loss. But it told you to get out the trade. But then at the same time, in the back of your mind, you're like, dang, I saw NTG use market structure to trail stop loss. So you know what? I'm going to wait for another lower high. While you wait for that lower high, the market came back to break even. You know what I'm saying? Because at that position where you're supposed to get out the trade, gold never created a lower high for you to put your stop loss. So there would have been no. You know what you see what I'm saying now? Yeah.
Didn't come up.
Right, because you know how we usually go with our lower highs. We put stop loss at the lower high, stop loss at the lower high, but it never created that next lower high, so you don't know where to put stop loss. And so what happens is now you're letting the market run too much, and you're supposed to already be using the 30 EMA from the jump. So you don't want to confuse yourself. Don't look at it both ways.
Okay, so. Don't look both ways. So because I mean now, especially with the the NTG 123, right? Like I'm seeing that everywhere, and there are times when I see that it's not valid, and I think on different time frames it's also not valid. Like I saw it on the 1 hour, and then it's like, whoa, how come it just changed the other direction? I always used to think that the higher the time frame, the more valid it is, and the longer the trade could happen. For let's say a bullish, it would be bullish for the next couple hours, for example, which I've seen that happen, but it doesn't always happen that way all the time. So it's like it's a 50-50 kind of strategy. But like here at the bottom, let's say we did get out, which I did. I mean, like the other day, I was able to, I guess, take the profit, but switching it, so that making it on the down, on the way where it goes down, and making as it goes up, because it went from, I think 100 pips from the bottom to 1812, and then it went back down. I mean, there's like multiple ways to try and get this capital back and like the money back, so I can and maybe that's the other issue. I don't know, but
oh yeah.
Sorry if I'm coming 100 miles an hour, bro. Like There's been so many things to probably ask and discuss, and I really appreciate your patience. And sorry if I'm like really a bit jumbled because it's just so much I'm trying to, compile and everything. So I appreciate that a lot.
No, yeah, no problem. And you have trust me, you have plenty of sessions. You have you have tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you have the rest of the month. Like this is a lot of sessions. So, and
Appreciate it.
I know people were like, oh, $500 for a session, but I don't know. People got to realize like 64 hours is a lot of time. That's like a part time
No,
job right there. You know.
no, it's
So
and I, you know what, like as you know, with the situation, like even if I wasn't able to afford, like I have to figure out a way that I can because I'm not learning from any other person right now, and getting this kind of one-on-one is amazing. It's like I need to. It's like I think I told you I used to do taekwondo. I used to do a little bit of kung fu. So I need that kind of mentor situation where just drilling down on your moves so that you get more. Because with taekwondo and everything, when you have to do all those moves, it's like you have to be very specific and very exact. So
right.
that's the thing I'm missing because you're right. It's like it's like a confluence of different strategies, and that's probably what's messing things up.
Yes.
That's this. Oh, but the other thing that's important is how you're drawing these structures and zones, and because sometimes we have these questions, whether in ourselves, but also other people, like, oh, hey, Sai. Actually, my name's Sai, by the way. It's how you say
Sai.
it. Sai.
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 I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you that too, because I
Yeah.
can never pronounce it. I always look at it. I'm like, what is his name?
I
Okay,
was
so
gonna call you
Sai.
out on the lives and stuff, but I said, yeah, Psy, like Gangnam Style. But anyway, Psy. So like when because we're like always in our brains like, oh, how far is this gonna go, or how far is it gonna go up? So and part of it is clicking like the. I'm not sure whether it's from the wicks or it's from the candles. Is it a certain time frame that makes it more exact? If you know what I'm saying.
Wait, repeat that.
So like when you're drawing out the zones and the
Mm-hmm.
structures, so there are wicks or the candle bodies that you draw in that shows where the market is resisting
Mm-hmm.
or it's where it's getting the support, because that would definitely show, for example, oh shoot, like it's gonna go up to this level, or it's going to go down to a certain level, right? Like we just so we don't get, let's say, FOMO, right? Oh, we're going to miss it. We just wait until it's returned.
Returns,
That
right?
kind of, yeah, that kind of thing, that kind of thinking. How do you draw that out properly? Like here, you got this zone right now on your YouTube, on your live, where it's like it's between 1810 and 1808.
Yep.
That's daily structure,
Yes, that's
maybe.
daily structure.
Right. So, I mean, you're getting it as a compilation of all the various previous wicks and candles that showed where the market hit.
Right, exactly. So I'm gonna do a video on how to draw market structure. I was gonna drop how to draw zones, but
Yes.
let me show you reasons being why I draw zones. So when I look left, what I look for are rejections. So that's one. Multiple rejections, wick rejections in particular. So I like to see what I like to see is a lot of wicks, right? I like to see that let's delete this. That buyers made a pressure to go up and we have a wick, right? We have another rejection here. Another rejection wick here. We had this big candle here, another rejection. Another rejections. So
Okay.
that's the first thing I like to look for, right?
Yep.
The second thing I like to look for is Japanese candlestick patterns. So you guys, my number one, my 1, 2, 3 in golfing. So that's like my high confirmation is when I see either an engulfing or an inside candle. So I never showed you guys an inside candle. So let me show you that real quick. All right, because we're at this daily structure right here. So as you know, this is the 1, 2, 3 engulfing, right? I don't know if you can see that.
Mm.
I know it takes a while to pick up
I see it.
on the
I
live.
see it. I see it.
Right.
Yep.
So we want two
It's
confirmations.
both ways.
Right. It's both ways. So we have one on the far left. We have an engulfing there, and we have another engulfing right here. So that's two engulfing candles on the daily. Plus, both sides also have multiple wick rejections.
I
So
see. I see. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So in my brain, I know that, okay, this is a strong area that gold reacts to, because it reacted to it twice in a row, where it created multiple wicks and that structure. And then lastly, we have this inside candlestick. So inside candlestick is like, it's not the engulfing, it's the inside. So it's actually smaller. So it creates a momentum stop. That's what an inside candlestick is, because you see we had those two bullish candles here. We had two bullish candles, and then what happened is all that momentum was stopped by the bears. So they tried to push the market back up, and the bears came in and actually stopped the momentum, creating that inside candlestick.
Yes.
So that is my third
that's
confirmation.
What you call
yes.
Inside.
Right.
Oh. Okay.
Right, exactly. So we created those three confirmations. I love confirmations, and I like multiple confirmations for my zones in particular. So if I get one confirmation on the zone, I might draw it out just to see how the market reacts to it, but I'm not once it reaches there, I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm going to get out the trade, because I know this is not really a strong level, but I just want to see how gold reacts to that level. So I draw it out anyway. And so now that I know that I have those three confirmations right at the zone, now I can go down to my lower time frames, and I can say that, okay, I'll even out the zone, and I can say, okay, this is a strong level here for resistance. So this is an area that I want to look for to not take any trades until I see some continuation. So a break of the zone, a retest of that zone, and then continuation. And then that's when I'm like, okay, let me start trading again. And I think that's where again, like other traders see like me as NTG, they think like I'm trading every day all the time, and it's like that's not the case. I'm just patient enough to wait for the correct setups for my strategy on how I trade. There's ways you can trade, the market every day with different strategies. I have strategies like that on my channel, and how I trade, I like to wait. I don't like to trade in any ranging market. I don't trade head and shoulder patterns. I'm just showing you guys multiple options, because we're all different traders. We all pick up information differently, and I want to give you guys as much info as possible, so you can look out for possible situations with gold and in forex, any particular market, not just gold. But that's how I go about drawing my zones. And there's a lot more to it as well, jumping to the daily, to the 4 hour, looking at the 4 hour to see if there's more confirmations on the 4 hour. So if you look left, if you draw it out on the 4 hour where we had structure, then you can see multiple rejections there. You have multiple rejections here, and actually you can go down and I can see like a little pattern here on the 4 hour.
Right.
So it's like
the consolidation pattern.
And then when you start drawing it out more and more, let's do market replays.
Right. It's like a reverse descending triangle.
Right, exactly.
On that one.
Or you can have a rising flag pattern here.
All right, yeah. Right.
So it's like, ooh, okay, so I saw that structure on the 4 hour, and then you're just slowly going down time frames, and then you can even things out, and then it's like, okay, we had confirmation on the left. This is some nice resistance. Let's wait for the break, and let's get into this trade. right? So of course we wait for that break on the 5 minute. Oh, data is too far, so we can't go too far back.
Yeah. That.
I don't know where I am. Okay, here we are. Let's go back to the 15 minute. Beautiful. We got that zone taken out, and we just wait for our break. There it is.
Mm-hmm. So yes. Let's see if on the 15 minute.
Yeah, that's on the 15 minute. Nah, I couldn't go down to the 5 minute, so because
Yeah.
I could have gave you a lot more details on like how to manage that trade, because it looks like a lot of craziness going on with like that big drop and then that retracement with this candle here. So, but it's not allowing me because we're all the way back in November of 2020, so it can't reach too far on the lower time frames. But yeah, that's ideally how that's how you can get key entries that way. Drawing out your zones first of all, looking at multiple confirmations. So you're looking at multiple rejections, candlestick confirmations, in multiple areas. And then what you can look for on a higher time frame is you can see some type of consolidation. You're like, ooh, there's a consolidation happening there. So maybe a pattern is forming. Then you can jump down to the 4 hour, then to the hour. You can start drawing it out, and then you can start placing trades on those actual breaks. That's how I trade.
Well, like you say, bro, keep things simple. I'm probably overcomplicating and, matching up too many different things all together once. I don't also do the head and shoulders. I've seen it so many times and it's never been valid most of the time, to be honest with you. And so I prefer like just looking for your 1, 2, 3s, that's been really, from what I've seen anyway, in the last few months, very effective. But I do I make sure that the engulfing covers the other two. That's what I'm doing, which is kind of modifying that a bit, just to make, because maybe it's more of a confirmation for me. Yeah.
So it looks more like this.
Valid.
So it looks more like you're covering both of that 1, 2 right here.
Yeah, and I mean there are some times where obviously the one is enough, but from what I've seen, it just does clearly. Yes, exactly. 1, 2, 3, and then even on the going up, just down there, 1, 2, 3. Right. So, but was there a curse? How do you call it? Was there like a way that it does become more valid on the higher time frame, like 15 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, or is that too far away?
1, 2, 3
Like if you look,
golfing?
yeah, on the 1 hours and the 4 hours and all that,
Yes, it does.
not as valid.
What you want to look for in the higher time frames is like confirmations of a direction.
Right.
Those are what really the daily and the weekly and the 4 hour are for. They're to tell you that, after all that manipulation on the lower time frames and stop hunting a bunch of like scalp traders and stuff, the higher time frames is what tells you, okay, I have a 1, 2, 3 engulfing, or I have this nice bullish break at this resistance, and so I'm telling you on the 4 hour that now I'm going to continue to the upside. So it's not rather of like the higher time frames being more valid than the lower, because sometimes the minute time frames can be more valid than the, I've seen it can be more valid than the 4 hour. That 5 minute can give you the 5 minute can give you a nice confirmation break, and it just drops off of a 5 minute confirmation. So it can be vice versa. Lower time frames can be more valid. It's all up to like the situation in the market.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the trader as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife, she loves the 1 minute. Like she can be watching that all day.
The 1
I'm
minute
like,
chart.
I think you need to step away from the phone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely also like, I love like when I'm not getting setups, Like when the market is taking too long to give me setups, that's when I go to the 1 minute and I just start scalping just based off of market
That's good to
structure.
know.
Just off of
Be
that,
happy
just
to
1 minute,
be
and
happy to
I'm
hear that.
in
I'm
and
like,
out.
oh, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Maybe like within the 1 minute, yeah, it's great. She can actually like maybe like visualize, the steps that are being made in the market. She likes to call it steps, right? Like it's building up to something, or it's going to break down to something, and she can be really good at that. But I think you can't be too long in a certain, in that time frame. So that's where sometimes it's been very good for her, and but when it reverses, it's bull, and then you get hedge, and then she hedges, and so there's the things that is very different, obviously, and I'm trying to be in between, which is like, okay, looking down like what you're doing with the 1 minute, but then also looking at the larger time frames. Like, I mean, it's a demo, but I put on a trade like at what was it, 1755, 1756, so it's never been below that right now, right? I mean, that would be an ideal situation where you don't have to look at the damn markets all the time to
Hmm.
trade, but you're watching it, right? And just hopefully expanding on that, right?
Right, exactly.
Hey, I appreciate, man. Like the time is like way past the time you've given, and I must be late for you over there.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
I mean we still got what, like 30 minutes?
awesome, cool.
Yeah. So just it's fine. It's all good. That this time was perfect for me. This is the time I set, so I'm all good.
Yeah, man. Like we were just we were really hopeful that what the Olympics would continue, and you'd be like by our area, right? Basically in the world, maybe like easy to like catch up or
Do a
something.
quick visit.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. So what they do? They just decided to delay the whole thing, huh?
Yes. So
Gee.
it's been a whole year. Been waiting on this opportunity. So yeah, so very excited for this, and very excited for the next Olympics in Paris, and hopefully that's the one I'll be competing in. And
Mm.
so yeah.
Oh, so they're basically delaying the Tokyo till what, next year or something, or?
No. Tokyo starts in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just reduced numbers or something.
Well, what they're doing is that they're not having any spectators, no fans at all. The only thing only athletes and a coach can actually go. So if you actually qualified, and your coach or your personal trainer or your physical therapist, physical trainers, everybody that's certified can go, but no spectators, nothing at all.
Oh, spectators are so sad.
Yeah, so the stadium's gonna be completely empty. I don't know what they're gonna do, but so yeah, because I know they're still in lockdown in Japan. They're actually protesting in Japan to not have the Olympics this year. So
Yep. So okay, bro. So what is maybe something else, and just while we have some time, what can I do to create a more consistent trading plan? What should I do?
okay, so what's your goal? Okay, let's start that way. What's your goal?
I mean, ideally, okay. So one idea I had was really, to be honest with you, like instead of let's say gathering capital elsewhere, which we can do, like maybe 10,000 here or 5,000 here or whatever. Maybe use like what do you call them? The prop firms where you could, let's say, my
Mm-hmm.
forex funds, where you put up 200 for 2,000 or 500 for 5,000, whatever. So it's like you're using, you're leveraging the capital, but they can be very strict. We've tried one or two of them, which is like
Yeah,
funding
they have like
talent.
rules. Yep.
Yeah, the rules. I think funding talent is fairly reasonable, but sometimes, we've been caught out where, you dip down below a 10% drawdown, which includes floating losses, right? And we're not we're still not that, what you call is like like a sniper to get the right, although the spreads are great, but is that something reasonable to do and maybe work from there? I think my Forex Funds does a 50-50 profit split, which they can pay out weekly. And I think you have to just achieve like a 10% profit on the month.
Profit on that, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's something. I don't know. What do you think?
Ideally, that would be definitely a recommendation, especially with like the situation you're in right now. I mean, I don't know like what's your initial account size first of all? Like what do you usually trade with on your personal account?
Well, we've had from, let's say, 5, 10, 40,000, 50,000, but it's been depleted. So, it's gone down to, let's say, 2, it's gone down to 5,000. Right now we have like, yeah, I mean, one account that's hedged with, maybe 1,000 equity. Um, I can probably test like a prop firm account at 20, 50, 100,000, you know?
Yeah, that would be definitely an ideal situation because you want to be able to trade with that capital, but then at the same time, like you're not really like paying all that money. Like you can pay like
Exactly.
$500, and you can trade with like $4,000-$5,000, of the account. And I think
Ideally, I want an account like you, but like, at the moment with this kind of
no, no,
situation,
no.
I was thinking like, I need a leverage,
You need
you
a
know?
leverage. And I also don't think people don't understand that like for my trading, I don't trade just based off of like what's in my account. I trade off of like my overall capital. Like
Okay.
if that makes sense. Like instead of like people are like if I risk like $500 on my account, that's not an ideal that's not like what I look at. What I look at is my overall capital, like what I actually have in my savings to replenish that account.
I got you. You have like
And
two accounts, right?
yes, I
That's
have
what you
two
always say.
accounts. I have, my the my big account where I have all the big money inside of that, and I don't risk any more than 5% of that account, 5 to like 7% of that account. And then I have my scalping account where I just have fun with that and I scalp. And I upload that the
Yeah.
most because that's what everyone likes to see.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
right. And the return rate for that scalp account has been fairly well. I would say about a 56% on that return. So
Respectable, respectable.
respectfully, not bad, especially for a flip account. It's not bad at all. Um, but see, but people don't realize that because like with 50%, 57% to make profit in that can be very difficult on a flip account. Not on like a everyday strategy. Everyday strategy, that's like more than enough numbers that you need. But on a flip account, very, very, very difficult because I think people come into trading and they scalp and they think like they have like these 80-90% winning rate strategies. And I think that's what causes them to risk all their account, which I always tell you guys don't risk all your account. It's
Mm-hmm.
not worth it.
Exactly.
Getting a prop firm is definitely be beneficial for you so you can stop, like those big chunks that you're losing. I think that will also help with your psychology portion of it because you don't really see like those big bucks, continuing to get flushed down the drain. It's a lot easier, to say like, okay, I have a $5,000 account, but I only, deposited 300 in this account. So it kind of in your head, like your overall
Exactly.
capital is not at risk.
Yes, exactly. That's so. That was probably what we should have done in the beginning. It was just a bit late to find out about it. But so okay, that's what I'm probably gonna do, which is have to try to get more disciplined as well, actually,
Right.
in trading. So
And I know it may seem like a longer process, and every trader is looking for like that shortcut, the short
absolutely.
right. But I always tell you guys like there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to this. This is you can find strategies all day. You can find strategies, price action strategies all day on YouTube, all day online. People sell them for like $3,000-$4,000. You can find them anywhere.
Well, I mean, like Tef in the chat, he said the best thing, which is I keep saying to everybody too, which is forex is the hardest way to make easy money.
Yep. Oh yeah. That tough. That's my main guy right there. So that's my main mod right there. So he definitely gives great advice, and I 100% agree. So trade with that prop firm. Like, yes, definitely do that. I know it may seem like a longer process, but trust me, like in the end, like in the long run, when like those couple months flash and you flip your fingers, you can be like, wow, like I'm grateful that I did this and I put myself in a good situation to where I did not keep flushing money down the drain, because it's so easy to not listen to yourself and do it properly, and you can look 5 months from now, it's like, dang, nah, I'm down another 40,000.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like here's an example, perfect example right now, right? I mean, the lowest it went to yesterday was about 1791, 1792, and now it's all the way up to like 1812.
1812.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, just buy at that point and just let it run, or add positions when you've had more profit. But that would be like, I think personally, um, ideal, because you're not always going to be able to do the scale-ins and stuff. But I mean, have you done a scale-in on this thing or on that jump yesterday?
On the jump yesterday. Oh no, I
Yeah,
haven't
when
traded at all this week so far.
because
Yeah, no
that
entries
was
for me this far. I'm
oh,
still I'm still in between this structure here, so still watching the market.
yeah, jeez. I
Still
mean,
just
we're looking
watching.
at it
But I've been
bullish.
looking at crypto though. I've actually been I'm gonna have I'm excited about this video because I really want to show you guys like the crypto market can be very nice to trade in, especially XRP. It's very cheap. So like that, I don't know if you saw that screenshot of that $200 account I had.
Yeah. What do
Yes,
you want to
like I was able to
2,000?
put in 40 lots, 40 lots, 40 lots on that, just a
Whoa.
$200 account. Like you can never do that on like gold, never. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most you can go is like point 30 depending on leverage. So
yeah.
you can stack up a lot of positions, and crypto is very relatively easy to trade. All you have to do is wait for opportunities in a proper zone, and you can just buy and hold. And I held that. I bought XRP at that price, and all I did was just turn off my phone, switch my broker accounts, and I let that run.
Yep.
And honestly, I forgot about it. Like 2 weeks later, like I go to switch my accounts, and I'm like, okay, let me go back to my KOT.forex live, and I go on there, and I'm like, and I see blue, and I'm like, oh, I have trades running, and then I see and I'm like, oh, forgot I took these trades, and I'm up like the count is like at like 2,400, and
Damn.
I'm like, whoa, like, and it's a great thing to do too as well because they don't take a lot of swap out of your position. Like gold,
Mhm.
it eats your position if you for every day that you hold it. But for Coinbases, no, it takes a little bit of it, and you can hold those for weeks and make
I mean,
tremendous amount of profit.
with the brokers we're using, like they don't charge commissions or swaps, but sometimes the spreads can be a bit higher. But that would be ideal, like to be able to put in just which is normal with crypto, not a huge amount of money, but you can gain a lot by just buying and holding. The thing is, I think I don't know if you can see it in the markets in your analysis, but like, is it headed for another correction? I mean, that's whatever from what I've heard from friends who are trading it or the ones who are just buying and holding it. Yes, I mean they're always looking for buying at the dips. So they're like, they bought the other day and then went down again 20% or whatever, right? So it's just it's really, I don't know. It's got a future to it, I guess. But I think, especially with forex and gold, it's huge. It's massive. It's I keep telling everybody it's $6.5 trillion a day market. Like, how can
Yep.
you can't really it's what's the word? It's everywhere. So people are just buying and selling every day, every minute.
Well, if I could ever give you any advice right now, and that would be to buy some XRP. Once it
No,
gets back to this area.
yeah,
Like,
Ripple.
I don't know if you see on my charts here, but
Mm-hmm.
that
So that's a decent time
right.
potentially.
Once it gets back to like 55 cents in
Oh,
that
okay.
50 cent area, definitely buy. I mean, just buy and hold. Just buy and hold and see what happens. Get it like a small account. I mean, look, I had a $200 account. I bought at this area here. I took profit right here, and it went from 200 to 2400. Yeah, just like that. You know. So
Oh, oh, you were in a buy.
yeah, I was in the buy.
Yeah, you were in the buy. Yeah. That's
Yes.
right. That's right. And
So
then just closed it.
I just closed it, and that's it. And I'm gonna do that same thing again once XRP drops right back to this level here.
Mm.
I'm gonna look for some confirmation on the lower time frames, and then I'm gonna buy again, and I'm just gonna let it. I'm just gonna hold it, and maybe that one day, you're doing that on coins, and it's just that one coin that just blows up, and so. But I'm gonna talk more about coins as well too. As like an investing account, because you always need, because I always have two accounts where I want to invest in like certain markets, and then an account that I use to day trade.
I think that's ideal for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, that was the whole point with like crypto or coins, like just trying to buy and hold it. But, just never really know what's the real deal, like what's just really never really got into it too much.
Oh yeah. Well, I never did either until I found out that I can buy and hold crypto on the KLT.forex account. So I was like, oh, so I can buy Bitcoin and XRP on this MT4 account. So this is perfect. So now
Yeah.
I'm really getting into it now for sure, especially for small account builders. It's definitely recommended, and it's very simple to trade. Just wait for it to get to certain zones, and just buy and hold until it gets back to those certain areas. And most of the time, it's very respectable. It's not too much manipulation like gold and forex markets. It really respects those zones. It goes up and it goes down. It goes up and it goes down.
That's good to know. I think, because a lot of the times people think it's pretty much, the wild west of, like penny stocks, right? Like worse than penny stocks is like 0.001 usually, but this is like Ripple. Maybe it's got more history to it and a better technology, I guess. So that's why sometimes, there's been so many other ones where it's just like pump and dump. But no, I appreciate that, man. I think it's gonna be definitely important for some people because that's the best way, right? You put in a little bit of money, you just leave it and let it run, I guess,
Yep.
or and you're like, oh,
I got
wake up is blue.
quick 100, quick 200. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
extra money. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but
So I
I
gotta.
definitely recommend doing that. Definitely like get into that prop firm. Deposit some money in there, so you can hold a good capital. So you can start focus on your psychology, because that's the main thing for you, and then coming up with a proper trading plan. And usually trading
Yes.
plans revolve around like what's your goal. Like, do you want like weekly income? Do you want like a monthly? Do you want just an extra secondary income to your primary income? So that's what I base like trading plans off of for some people. To just to see what their goal is, and then I can tell you like, okay, well, if you want to make weekly income, you're gonna have to become a day trader. If you want just secondary, you can be a swing trader. You can just buy and hold and collect profits every month or so.
I think, so let's say, for example, just to put in the numbers, let's say just grabbing a $2,000 or $5,000 account, uh, um, let's say targeting weekly of 20% or 40%. Is that too much? And
Yeah,
how
that
to
might
how to
be a
go
little high. I mean,
because
if
I
you're
mean,
going for an account flip, then that's different. But
here's
yeah,
the problem. We had traders with like working together with us, splitting profits, and they were able to achieve that. I was like, okay, let's see, and then they did it. And I was like, oh, this is great. And like, let's say it was 10,000. Within a week, maybe in a few days, even in that week, 5 days, 3, 4, 5 days, it was like up by 4,000. And of course, what they do is we split profit 50-50, whatever, and we still have the capital and the extra amount. But then by the third week, it was like, oh, what's happening? What's happening with the account? No one's watching it, and I wasn't really watching myself, and it just,
Yeah.
oh, it's gonna no, or the same thinking, the psychology. Oh no, it's gonna go back. It's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse. Like, whoa, what? I think we need to like put in some kind of, management here, right? So that was my thing. That's why, man. Well, I think I got to your account like what, February or March. I was like, oh shoot, Wish I had you when I was like 300. Then I would have saved like a lot,
Right. So, and that's why I say like that percentage was a lot, because normally that type of percentage return doesn't survive in the long run.
Yeah.
Because is how nice and easy it is to gain 50% it's hard to lose 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to consistently lock in. So we want to consistently lock in 2%, 2%, 2%, lose 1%, 2%, 2%, lose 1%. That's how we build a proper foundation, not 100% gain and then your next trade is going to be 100% lose.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know a lot of people see like my account flips and cause that's what they attract to. Like when I post psychology, money management, those don't do too well. I might average like 2,000-3,000 views, not a lot of likes, comments. YouTube tells me like, oh, your trading psychology is ranked 30th out of like all your videos. So people are not really understanding the base scenario.
And I keep watching and rewatching them, and it's like just trying to, just really sink it all in. And I think it's the sometimes obviously the disconnect between watching videos. You get inspired, you get like excited, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna kill the markets, and then get in and do it. And then without like somebody like, when you're training, for martial arts, whatever, you got your teacher right there. It's like, oh no, you put your hand up a little bit higher, put your body a little bit in this position. You know what I mean? Like there's
exactly those hands-on
right
adjustments
over your shoulder, exactly. And so it's like we're kind of still doing ourselves, which has helped, and then using a demo and all that as well. But it's in the moment of the trades, and that would be another question, right? Like let's say it is a $2,000 or $5,000 account to achieve. You were saying 1%, 2%. So it's like, let's say for 5,000, 1% is 50, right?
50,
so
right.
It's like $100. And how many trades per day to try and achieve that? To risk that, or how much to gain every day and how much to risk every day on that,
Oh yeah, definitely. We can come up with a plan that way. Depending on like what market you want to trade. Like, do you want to trade forex? Then or do you want to trade gold? So we'll look at it differently that way. And then
gold for sure.
Yeah, and then we'll come down to what strategy do we want to use? Do we want to use indicator base to something that can give us like consistent like signals or consistent setups for every single week, or do we want to trade price action where we have to be more patient? We might have to wait like a week for like just one good setup. So that's something that we can discuss definitely.
So price action have a weekly setup, like you don't watch it daily to
price
jump
action?
in. Yeah.
No. I look at I'm always on the higher time frames, and I wait for gold to get to the zones that I wanted to get to before I start drawing out patterns.
I see. Maybe that's where, because I'm thinking, we just any moment of any day.
No. I don't just like in the middle of a range.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna go jump to the 15-minute and then look for a pattern and then trade that. I always wait till we hit to daily, weekly zones, 4-hour zones. 4-hour zones is my most consistent structure that I wait for. 4-hour zones. But if we're not at a 4-hour zone, or if we're not at a daily zone, I'm not gonna trade it.
So maybe, what should I do, bro? Like maybe I had to, what should I do now, right? Like, okay, get the prop firm thing started, and then kind of work out a ideal plan, which I'm not really sure about, to make the consistent profit either weekly or daily.
Yeah.
I think I've seen GU move, can move like gold, but still much slower. So I think we've been so used to how gold moves. It's just trying to maintain that consistency.
Right. Because it's definitely hard, and it's hard to like jump from like something so volatile like gold, and you trade it
Yes,
for like months, and then you just hop on forex, and you're just like, it's like foreign
exactly.
to you at that point. You're like, what is going on?
Yeah,
It looks so
so slow.
choppy. Like, how do you get any confirmations here?
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely see that. So
And then
yeah,
when I was seeing like even the Asian sessions moving like 100 pips, like whoa, we can't move anywhere else right now. Like this, we've got to make it somehow to this. So go through like hell and back basically to make it, to really make it.
right, exactly. So that's we'll talk about that definitely. I mean, like I said, you have like, so many sessions. You have like 15 sessions, so we have plenty of time to, talk and create a plan and all those things like that. So now that I know like ideally what you want, then I know we can, because we can take advantage of this one-on-ones now, because there's two other members, but they're not on the live. So you have like all the time in the world here, so you're getting like the extra benefits. You're getting that pretty much the one-on-one phone call right now. So
I appreciate it, bro. Like, shoot, God knows I need it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, but no, I appreciate it because, I think, we've been talking about it in the groups, in the lives, and honestly, there hasn't been anybody else that I've seen that's like you and how you're training people and educating and really changing lives. Like when I feel things have clicked and I can make things happen, it's like, whoa, like, that's a great feeling.
right,
We're proud of ourselves, but we're also proud, like, damn, I found the right teacher. Otherwise, like, if I didn't, my God, where would we be right now? So I think, some things happen for a reason. We can always choose certain things and make decisions, but sometimes up there, somehow in the universe, things are meant to be, right? So appreciate, bro. I really do. And I think the next step is yeah, like trying to get a realistic, consistent plan, how to execute that plan.
yeah, definitely. I'm writing it down right now, so I'm putting some notes in for our next live, so we can talk about that
Well,
more.
you're still in Montreal, eh?
Huh?
You're still in Montreal.
Right now, I'm still in the Olympic camp in Florida,
Oh, nice.
but
It's
I'll be going
but
back home next month.
how are things like? Because I got friends in Vancouver. Um, you know, it's like Canada is pretty much, I
On
think, free
lockdown.
from the COVID, right?
No,
Or it's
everything's
locked.
still on lockdown. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can't even like fly to Canada unless you're going for like business, or if you're seeing family members. Right now for
That's
Montreal, so
that's been the craziest shit,
yeah.
right? I mean, basically, my dad was stuck in Indonesia. I couldn't fly back because there was no flights at that time, and then to Australia is even worse. My mom passed away there with friends and family and all that, but we couldn't fly. We tried to get exemptions, and then they're like, they
They're
had
like, nope.
they had like 50 extra cases or something. Okay, that's it. We're gonna shut down everything again. Like what? Whereas in Indonesia, we're up to like I think 20,000 in one day or something, and it's well at the same time they're saying that since almost everybody's got COVID, it's getting to herd immunity, right? But my one of my cousins passed away last week. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, we live in a crazy world, and everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you though, where did you previously get your information on trading, as far as like when you started trading?
So when I first started trading, it was from my wife, right? Like my wife's been involved in forex. She's been in a bunch of like, let's say, fairly big trading firms in Indonesia.
Okay.
A company called like Valbury, Asia Pacific. She's also sort of done some sort of marketing with like Hot Forex. I don't know if you ever heard of Hot Forex, but me personally, like I've done trading, for off and on for a long time. Before I was in stocks, and then trying to do like this forex, but just never really getting to really understand it, very clearly. And then, but after, let's say, searching, YouTube and trying to get better at it, I saw yours, and I'm like, whoa, just, I think in one day, just watching all these videos from you, and it's just the way, maybe the way you're explaining it, right? It's the way you're showing things, how it's happening, how to analyze.
Yeah,
That's
I
made it
try
very
to
clear,
keep it simple and very clear, and
Simple. That's it. Simple. Yeah, simple. Because yeah, there are people like, yeah, man, I'm like, got my Lambo here, and I've done this. It's so easy. and shit
yeah, I
like that.
know. Yeah,
That messes up with people's psychology too, right? So
right, exactly. And that's why I don't like to post too much profits either. Um, and I wanted to create like an academy that's just like based off of like the knowledge, not just like, let me post up in front of my nice car and tell you guys you can be, successful traders.
yeah, exactly.
I want to, the real stuff, like actual trading as far as that, any other trader, that tells you like they have like this nice 99% win rate strategy is, I don't know. They're delusional.
I mean, when we first like really got into it, even in more depth, let's say I think 2018, 2019. I've seen, this is the problem as well. I've seen my own account. I wasn't trading at the time, but I was watching it, and it can move like from, what was it? I think 20,000 to 60,000 in like 2 weeks, right? There are days when it's like, and I think it was a trader that from the company my wife was using before, and it would be days where like, oh shoot, why is it like negative, And then, but the next day it was all in profit, like up 10,000 or 9,000. Whoa, man, this is great. This is really life changing, right? Like, can really make a lot of
Right.
it. It's how, where else, right? It's to, like I always tell people here as well. Like when we're trying to explain, in a lot of businesses, you have your inventory, you have your employees, you have your rent, you have your stock. But when it's like a pandemic situation, you can't just sell your goods at a loss and make money. You've lost, right? Whereas in forex and gold, you sell, make money when it goes up, make money when it goes down, and again, back to that market, like so liquid and massive. So. But yeah, it's the leverage and everything we have to try and manage and be consistent with, and that's, I think, a lot of the times we're all missing that, right? The money management, the psychology, but I think back to the planning part of it, like maybe getting down to journaling and stuff. That's something that I'm not doing, but I need to do more of.
Journal, yes, writing down like that definitely that actually like sharpened my mind and my trading so much by writing down things. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna create a spreadsheet for you. I'm gonna create an Excel spreadsheet where you can actually log on to that spreadsheet, and you can like type in the currency pairs. You can type in how much money you have in your current balance, just so you can monitor your money management. So it's gonna be like
Oh,
a
the
whole portfolio. Yeah, it's gonna give you like a win rate, loss rate, biggest drawdowns, collective amount of pips that you won, lost. It's gonna give you all those calculations. I'm gonna create that spreadsheet for you guys, and I'm gonna send it out to you.
That'd be amazing, bro. I mean, it's just, I think, because we're like, I was thinking like, how can we like just download the information on the trades that we do? You know what I mean? That'd be awesome. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna work on that. Tomorrow morning when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna work on that spreadsheet, and then once I finish it, I will probably send it over to you guys, and then we can look it over on the next live, and then we can kind of like just come up with like a trading plan for you, that you can consistently do. And yeah, we can just build off of that, and we have 15 more sessions, 2 hours, so plus the one-on-one
Appreciate that,
calls.
brother. I
So
appreciate that a lot. I
yeah, a
appreciate
lot.
that.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time, man. Very valuable time, and I'm happy that you appreciate that, because a lot of people don't see that. They're just like, oh, NTG's charging 500, but they don't realize how many actual hours it is. And I'm the type
Yeah.
of person that will always, even I say 2 hours, I'll be on here three hours talking to you. So
Yeah, appreciate that's the most, right? I mean, like I said in the chat many times, it's priceless. Like, man, when you were saying stuff like, "Yeah, are you gonna be ready and jump on it?" I'm like, "I'm ready." You know what I mean? Like, no hesitation. Like, I mean, I was even asking the chat, like, "Okay, where's the link? Where's the link, or whatever?" Right? And then you said, "Oh, it's in the description." Oh, shoot. Okay, I looked at it. Boom, that was it. No questions. You know what I mean? Like, no hesitation. That's because no, I mean, I mean, even from before, I think there was a grander hope, a grander vision, hopefully, to maybe spread this your knowledge and your teaching, your academy. Like it's because in Indonesia, like we can't, not everyone speaks English, obviously. So
Right.
there's about 300 million people. So in a business sense and as well as an educational sense to help people, because my mom was all about that, trying to educate people, and she wanted to do things on the lower, like I mean, like even just basic English, for example. What I'm trying to do is maybe like, well, maybe we can help more people get better financial education to better their lives, and that would be amazing, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, once we get in your trading plan and all that, maybe we can talk about that, in the future for sure.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Pumped. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. All right, appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Must be late
So,
for you now. 11 o'clock.
huh?
Whoa.
Oh
Must be
yeah.
like what,
So
11?
yeah, that's all good. Yeah, that's perfect. We started like around 9:15. So that's perfect. So I guess we'll definitely pick up tomorrow on the next stream right where we left off.
No, no, so no face reveal. Everyone has to ask for a face reveal every live, right? So
That's okay. Go ahead and do that. That's fine. I'm used to it. Oh yeah.
appreciate it. Take care,
Yep.
brother.
Yes, sir. So
Hello.
tomorrow. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so tomorrow, definitely tomorrow we'll do that, and we'll do the live stream again same time, and we can go more over your trading plan.
Oh, just one last one. Any recommended prop firms besides the one I mentioned? Any you might know.
Besides FTMO, that's pretty much, mostly what I know as far as like my followers tell me. So,
Okay.
but I don't trade any prop firms. I like to trade my own capital.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes. That's not ideal. That's the ideal thing, really. But I
right,
think yeah,
exactly.
I think my forex funds might be the slightly better where they can fund you immediately. Yeah, you have to go through some challenge or whatever. So I'm gonna check
Oh
on
yeah,
that
that's
one.
right. You have to do the challenge and all that stuff. So, but yeah,
All right,
that's
bro.
not what I do. So,
Yeah. Well, step by step, step by step.
yes, yes. All right. So,
Thanks so much,
if you have
brother.
any questions, you can always just shoot me a DM on Patreon, and I'll see
Will
you there.
do.
Yep. Yes,
Will do.
sir.
Will do. Take care.
Yep. All right, Simon. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
All right.
brother. Take care.